Hello, Africa. This is eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show, and my name is Eunice Tonye. It is the show, that's always talking about issues pertaining to women as they contribute to national development. WCW is also happening today, and have you told that special someone how you're crushing on her? If not, you still have got time. I always say this every Wednesday. Today, I was crushing on so many people. Those of you who follow me on social media at Eunice Tonye, you will find out that the people I crushed on today are all the guests I had I had been able to meet during the EWN 5th anniversary conference that happened at Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel 2 weeks ago. They were phenomenal, and every insight they shared was fabulous, and I had no other choice but to crush on them this Wednesday. So you need to go check that out on my social media handles at Eunice Tonye on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This program is proudly brought to you by very responsible brands, and I'm starting with Afariwa Styles. I am looking really good, and I want to say a very big thank you to her. You can locate Afariwa Styles at Teshinungwa area, just at the container bus stop. If you're on the Rasta Road, it's not difficult to locate at all. You'll find a beautiful edifice there, and you just walk in, check it out. They are all contemporary ladies and gents outfit that are ready-made, and they've got accessories, they've got shoes, they've got so many beautiful things that will make whatever you pick to really look good. They also have another office at Osu, and their phone number is rolling down at the base of your screen, so you could just pick it up and then give them a call, and then engage them much more on what your need would be. And I'm very sure you'll not be disappointed. I want to say a very big thank you to Awo's Hair for always keeping my hair intact. I also want to say a very big thank you to Lizzie's Tomato Mix. Lizzie is one kind of tomato mix that really is revolutionizing the food that Ghanaians are cooking. And even beyond Ghana, people who use Lizzie's Tomato Mix have testified that it makes their food delicious. So any meal it is that you want to prepare and you need tomato mix, just try out Lizzie's Tomato Mix, and you will be calling me to tell me what the story is after you used it. Chana Shito, Ghana's #1 pepper sauce. If you like it mild, if you like it hot and very spicy, we've got a variant for you. Pick up their phone number at the base of your screen and get it in bulk. There are business opportunities across that will work with you having to do something with Afariwa Styles, Awo's Hair, Chana Shito, Lizzie's Tomato Mix. They are all fast-moving goods, and I implore you to add it to your business so that you get that extra income stream. And as usual on the show, we always bring you 60 seconds update where we tell you what's going on with women, especially if they are African. So I'm linking you up to that. When we return, I get to expose you to our I get to expose you to those who are going to be talking to us today. I don't want to say too much. I'm already excited. So 60 seconds update. Here we go.
29-year-old Joanna Kra, who faked her abduction at Takoradi in the Western region, has been sentenced to 6 years imprisonment. She was found guilty of causing fear and deceiving a public officer. She was on Monday, October 25th, 2021, put before the Takoradi Harbour Circuit Court A, presided over by His Honor, Michael Kojo Ampuedu, where she pleaded guilty to the charge. He therefore said the court looked at how Takoradi is being destroyed by kidnapping, hence needed to give maximum sentencing to deter others. Ms. Kra was arrested over the weekend for faking her kidnapping on Friday, October 22nd, 2021, in a bid to extort 5,000 Ghana cedis from her godfather. According to reports, the KNUST lecturer, whose wife got missing a month ago, allegedly killed her, and some marital cracks in their marriage have also been revealed. However, it has emerged that the Ghana Police Service were able to trace a call that came to the husband's phone asking for a ransom of 1 million Ghana cedis before the lady would be released to the man. According to the reports, the marriage was on the brink of collapse due to the bad blood between the couple, which reportedly led to the man hitting the woman dead. He then came out to cry about the whereabouts of his missing wife, while all along he had allegedly killed her and concealed her lifeless body. Randy Waldrum's women bowed to the Black Queens in Sunday's qualifiers. Nonetheless, the veteran tactician feels there is no cause for alarm. Nigeria's women's senior national team remains a strong force in African football despite losing to Ghana 1-0 in Sunday's African Women's Cup of Nations qualifier. According to coach Samson Unanel, the Super Falcons took a 2-goal advantage to Accra for the first round second leg qualifier, but they were caged by Mercy Tego's Black Queens, with Priscilla Edubia scoring the only goal. Despite the results, the reigning African Queens advanced to the next round of the qualifiers for Morocco 2022 ALCON. The loss to Ghana has continued to generate contrasting opinions from the football sphere, with some claiming Randy Waldrum's women are the best on the continent at the moment.
And you're welcome back to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. We are also on Facebook Live at ETV Ghana. So if for any reason you're leaving your TV set, we don't want the conversation to cut off, okay? So you just log on to your Facebook page and then you continue watching from there. Wow. So back into the main discussion for today's edition. Some weeks ago, we told you about EWN celebrating her 5th anniversary, and it was phenomenal at the Gold Coast Hotel, Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel. African Women's Voices was live at the program, and we were able to experience so many talks and so many teachings, so many words of encouragement to women. It was phenomenal. So if you never attended an EWN conference, I will implore you to try and go for the next one that will be coming up, because there's a lot to grasp from there. So we were able to talk to some key people who were there, and they shared a lot of insights. We're going to be talking to them today and be meeting them as well. And I first of all want to acknowledge the fact that the keynote speaker, Ibukun Awoshika, was phenomenal, and she said quite a lot. So in the course of the program, we'll get to hear what people's takes were out of what she shared during the conference. And another beautiful thing that will be happening on the show today is the fact that for the very first time, we are going to be interviewing a gentleman. Yes, this show is all about women, and we don't ever have men on it. But we found out that there are strong reasons why we need to have this particular person on the show tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me as I introduce you to this special gentleman who is really making waves across Ghana when it comes to advocacy for diversity and for women to get a seat at the table of decision making. So I introduce you to the MD of Fidelity Bank Ghana in the person of Julian Opuni.
Usually on African Women's Voices show, we talk to women who are empowering women and supporting women. But when we came here, we realized that some gentlemen are also stepping into the space. And we are very honored to have that gentleman seated here with us. He's going to introduce himself, and then we'll take it on with the questions. All right, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. So my name is Julian Opuni. I'm the Managing Director of Fidelity Bank Ghana Limited.
Thank you very much. So what made you really begin to consider having to support women the way you're supporting women now?
I think it's not an issue of starting it now. I think maybe it's becoming a bit more evident. And in a certain way, I think it's important that the cause has as many advocates as possible. And even though it's a conversation around gender and trying to build diversity around gender, the reality is that it's a responsibility of all parties that are looking to create the right level of diversity. And so why do I have an interest in this? Because without having the right level of diversity and also promoting the interests of women, I think all the positive impact that women have had, and we've had very strong women in history, strong women currently in government, strong women in the corporate boardrooms, etc. And it's important that we as males also champion the cause that is being driven. And I think it also supports the ongoing story with regards to it not being a one-sided conversation, because it's important that we all come to the table and make a change, because the result is going to impact both men and women positively. One thing that came up earlier on was the fact that it's important that it's not about men versus women, it's about men collaborating with women for the benefit of all.
Amazing. Back in the conference room, you spoke about an experience you had outside of Africa, where you got to a position where you were supposed to be the managing director of a certain bank, and it didn't look so comfortable for certain people to have a black man. So that means you've actually had some kind of experience where, for some reasons, you were not allowed to take up a position. And a lot of women find themselves in that kind of position today. And that's why we're having this conference around, getting a seat at the table. So would you say that women need to actually maybe advertise themselves or publicize themselves? What should they do to be able to grab a seat at the table?
I think it's important that one, addressing the issues about identifying that there certainly is a conversation to be had about the level of diversity on boards and women in senior positions. But it's important that women don't pull themselves or hold themselves back as a result of that realization. It means that in certain instances, the battle is a bit harder, but it's really around focus, creating your own personal brand. It's about having a results-driven environment in which you create and impacting on others. So it's not really about gender, because I always say competence is not gender-based. Competence is based on results and impacting on others. And if you know you have that competency and you have the skills to drive it, you need to focus it and move it forward. There will be battles and challenges, but the reality of success in life is the battles and challenges that make us stronger. And therefore, the more battles and challenges you go through, the more likely the higher the success story. So I think I'll end all in saying that it's not any different for women than men with regards to the things that create success, but the charts that you're going to take or the route you're going to go may differ considerably, and the story is different for everyone. Women need to understand not just themselves, but the reality of the parts that they play in the development, and not allow it to be underplayed by the perception of maybe what has been grown in the environment generally. And the other reality that I think I need us to talk about is, I think that we've moved considerably in the world, and I think we shouldn't forget, and we should sometimes pause and see that even in our Ghanaian setting on board, and there are women in very, very strong places. If you look at today's event, I mean, when I came in, I just realized the impact women are having in the corporate world, and that's evidence of the level of progress that has been made. So sometimes it's also important for us to stop and count all the successes and make sure that we champion those who have actually made it, to create that sense of giving something for others to look up to, and create strong mentors in that environment. And we will support as well, we who are obviously in leadership, etc., because this is a cause that is close to my heart as well.
Exciting. So final question to you is, you said quite a lot back in there at the conference, but those of them who are watching you right now probably didn't get the chance to hear you speak. So is there something you would like to drop for them, those of them who are watching who didn't get the chance to experience the conference today?
I think it's simply, sometimes we are our own worst enemies, and your ability to achieve your visions is sometimes impacted by how much belief you have in yourself. Growth in oneself and developing on whatever your career path or entrepreneurial vision is based on focus, creating a clear plan, discipline, creating a real network of mentors, and also having milestone output areas where you can actually champion and say, I have achieved this, I have achieved that, and make sure that you never allow yourself to fall into the bracket of someone else's perception, either by your gender, by your color, by your disability, whatever it is that makes us different, because that is not what defines us.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Juliana Penny, MD of Fidelity Bank Ghana. My key takeout from what he said is that competence is not gender-based. It is based on results. And that is totally true. I really identify with that. At some point in the program, I'm going to open the phone lines for you to also add your voice or contribute to whatever we are having to discuss today, okay? So let your ideas keep flowing. Just write them down. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we return, we get to meet Mrs. Frida Duplan, who is the board chairperson of Zenith Bank Ghana Limited. We'll get to hear what she's got to say around women getting a seat at the table of decision making. Do not go away. And you're welcome back to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. Before the break, we heard from the MD of Fidelity Bank Ghana Limited. And now I will be linking you to the board chairperson of Zenith Bank Ghana in the person of Mrs. Frida Duplan. Now, when you hear the word board chairperson, you keep wondering, what is it that they do? You know, and how do women even get to that point? Because hardly do you hear that we've got women as board chairpersons in institutions that big. Well, this conversation will get to reveal some inspiring thoughts to you. So, I'm linking you up to her.
While we're having the conference, you made mention something that really stood out for me. And you said that women need to possess the right skills that will propel them to desired leadership positions. And I would like you to expand much more on this for people to understand it in simpler terms.
So there are a number of skills required to get on board. But even before you get on the board, in a leadership role, it's not about being the technical expert in your function. It's really about working with your team, empowering your team, ensuring that your team gives of their best, okay, for you to succeed. So it's not just one person doing everything by themselves. Yeah. So you have to work with your team. You need to train them. You need to support them, and you need to empower them. Once you have that leadership role, it means then that your organization has enough confidence in you, has taken the risk to invest in you, and there's a set expectation not only of your performance but also in developing your team, your successor, and making sure that whatever is achieved to last for a long time, is basically sustainable and doesn't disappear once you are not on the scene.
Wow, fantastic. A lot of us never thought about it that way. We were always looking out for the fact that, you know, it said that, yeah, you need to have 50% women representation in every outfit, so you need to get us there. That's not the counsel she's given. You need to be able to equip yourself with the requisite skills to get yourself to get closer to that seat. I also remember something else that you mentioned. You said that we were talking around what do you do if you're trying your best. You know, you've equipped yourself now with what you feel is necessary for you to be able to get to that seat of decision making, but you're still not getting there. What should a woman be doing?
First of all, you have to make sure that whatever it is that you are delivering in terms of performance is seen by your different stakeholders within your organization, as well as your peers. So, you know, sometimes we have the tendency of just sitting in our little corner, doing our work, and nobody really knows what you're doing. So it's not so much about boasting, but it's important for your performance to be seen and to be seen also by the organization as adding value to the organization. And this is something that we are not often very good at. Remember, as a leader, also, you have a team. So you should also be seen developing your team. I think I said that earlier. And it's really important. You will find that sometimes people are good at what they do, but they are not good at managing their teams. That is not a mark of a good leader. So it's really important that we make sure that that happens. Apart from that, in most organizations, there are different projects and other assignments that come up. I think also it's important that we raise our hands, you know, for such projects. It's important that we get involved in such projects, because it does show the different skills and capabilities that one has as a leader. Remember, at that level, it is not about being either the best accountant or being the best salesperson or being the best marketer. But it's more, how can you get your entire team to continue delivering the results? And how do we do this? Is by letting the team work, encouraging them, motivating them, empowering them, supporting them, and really continuous development of your team. And in so doing, you actually develop yourself as well.
Great. So going back to what you said initially, you mentioned that we need to be able to equip ourselves with the requisite skills to be able to find ourselves at the seat And, well, you are living that example. For instance, you are the board chair of Zenith Bank. So you've equipped yourself and everything. But a lot of times people hear board member, what do they do?
So remember that you have the executive team already running the day-to-day operations of a company or an organization. So as a board, it is not your responsibility to run the day-to-day business of the organization. It is you, the board is responsible for the strategic direction of the company. In addition to that, is to ensure that the management are being, do I say, challenged or asked the right questions to ensure that whatever is being done in the interest of the company for long-term sustainability. This also includes corporate governance. It includes ensuring the right succession planning, and it also includes delivering sustainable results over time. And it's not sustainable results only over time in terms of profits, but also in terms of structure, in terms of environment, in terms of gender, in terms of diversity. We know about all the other sustainable goals that we have. So it's all of that put together that basically makes a company long-lasting and sustainable over the years.
Thank you very much for the insight. However, we not wanted to leave us without giving some word of inspiration of hope to anyone who is watching right now.
So for ladies out there, I know sometimes it seems like a big task. How can we do all of this? How can we be mothers, wives, career women? It's all possible. But remember, it starts from the house. So you need to make sure that you have the right discussions at home with your partner or your spouse. Make sure that you are engaging along your career path, and your spouse or your husband is very well aware of the goals and the ambition and is very much aligned with you and is supporting you. So that's the first thing. Without that, it becomes a very difficult mountain to climb. So that's the first one. Then, of course, as we said earlier, performance matters, but performance with team development, performance, sustainable results, and most importantly, receiving feedback, being open to receiving feedback. We talked about this also during our session, and I said feedback is a gift. We have to work with an open mind, know that we have to continue improving, so that's continuous improvement. We have to keep learning. So with the mindset of continuous improvement, keep learning, growing your team, receiving feedback as a gift, and working on it, the sky is truly the limit.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Frida Duplan. Did you hear her say that we need to align with our partners and our husbands at home if we want to excel or get close to the seat of decision making? A lot of times people accuse us, especially the opposite gender. They believe that women who rise up to the ladder are people who do not have conversations with their partners. They don't even believe in having such discussions because they feel too highly of themselves. Now we have someone who has risen to the position of being a board chair of a bank, giving this advice. So that goes a long way to say that let's not infiltrate the society or community and make them believe that a lot of women who are rising to the top are not people who are respectful. They don't have regard for anyone who is around them. Another key takeout for me from what Frida Duplan said was about the fact that aside possessing the right skills, you need to ensure that your employer gets to see what you do. A lot of times across Africa, if one person or an employee tries to make himself visible for the bosses to get to notice him or her, everybody is more like, oh, you want to show yourself, so they believe that you're the one who is actually doing all the work. But from what she's saying, if the employers don't get to see that you are contributing or bringing value to the company, you can't rise to that seat that you're looking forward to. So let's not pull people back. Let's allow people to become visible. If you feel one person is more visible than yourself, try and do much more, bring more value to your business or to the company so that you can also become visible. I'm going to get us to meet some participants who were at the conference. Let's hear what their takeouts were.
I'm here with Safwa, and Safwa will also be telling us what her takeout from Awoshika's teachings are. Welcome, Safwa.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, have you always been a member of EWN?
I followed them on Facebook, but this is the first time I'm coming into an event. So yes, this is my first time here. Yeah.
All right, you're welcome. And how would you say the experience is like?
So far, it's been very informative. I mean, there's been a lot of gems that have been dropped today in a few minutes that would have probably taken me a long time to know through experience. So I think informative is the word I'm going to use, yes.
All right. So Ibukun Awoshika spoke to a lot of women here. I would like to know what your takeout from it is.
For me, I wrote a lot of things, but what really comes to mind now is having a value system, where she mentioned that you should have a value system that speaks to you, that you're able to stick to, so that in case there's any crisis, you have something to fall back on. And if you've created a value system around you, even when you are falling off, there'll be people who remind you of that value system that you've lived with. Also because in situations where there's issues or disaster, women are usually blamed more strongly than men. So having the value system would mean that when anything comes up, you already have a playbook that you can go by. Another thing that comes to mind is that you should define who you are, what you stand for before you are a wife, so that you would have something to stand on who you are. The third thing that comes to mind is about having a career path, knowing what you want, finding the gap analysis in order to reach there. So if this is your goal, you look at now and then, you have a gap analysis, and then look at how you can get there. So these are the three key things that I pick out of it.
We are here with the Chief Director of Global Media Alliance Group, and she's going to tell us her experience so far with what Ibukun said to each and every one of us. Let's hear from her. Hi, Emma.
Hi, Eunice.
Wow, you look fantastic.
And you too.
And I must say, you guys did so well with the organization.
Thank
It's
you
really
so much.
good.
And thank you for your support, African Women Voices. We are so grateful.
All right, so could you please let our viewers know of what you've been able to gather from Ibukun's conversation?
Wow, I think for me, I've learned two main things. One thing she said is, as women, we need to understand our value system and the fact that no one should be able to deter what your value system is. So you shouldn't change it no matter what. And then the second thing that was very powerful for me is we shouldn't apologize for being ambitious. You know, I think as women, because of our, I don't want to call it nature, but sometimes we feel like we have to let go of one thing to get another. So we apologize, either you choose career or family, but you can actually do both. It's possible.
Hi, I am Frida Duplan. Keep watching African Women Voices.
And you're welcome back to eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. So we are still on the commemoration of the 5th anniversary of Executive Women Network and the conference they had about 2 weeks ago at the Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel. Now we've heard from Juliana Puni, we've heard from Frida Duplan. We are going to be hearing from an etiquette coach, and she's no other person but Sika Goka. Do hear from her.
Hello, everyone. We are here with Sika Goka. Could you let us know what it is you took out of the panel discussion today?
Absolutely. You know, the panel discussion was very much around how do you get a seat at the table? And so much wisdom came out of that discussion. You know, there were conversations about the fact that, yes, you can ask for a seat at the table, but you also have to be prepared. You have to have built yourself up already so that when you are at the seat of the table, you'll come and you will offer, you know, something else you'll bring something to the table in terms of your content, your credibility, your experience as well. You know, sometimes opportunities will be there, but it was also said that whilst you're actually working, you have to make sure that you champion others. You know, as an employee, your main sponsor will be your employer. So you have to do the best that you can do whilst you're actually in the role that you're currently in, because through that you'll get the recommendation to also come to the table. So, you know, there's things that you can do, be patient, be ready, but also take that leap forward. But the point is, in everything that you do, just be authentic, be yourself, avail yourself to every sort of teaching that there is possible, so that when you are given that seat at the table, you are bringing something to it as well. And I think that was the main thing. And another thing that was said was that you really have to be your own champion. And whilst you're also coming up, you have to bring others up with you as well, especially women. Ultimately, have confidence in yourself as well, and that will see you through.
Amazing. You know what I liked about what you said, as our bosses being the first sponsors that everyone ought to actually identify, is because here in Africa, or in Ghana particularly, you hear lots of people saying, the company is not for my father. What is it? Why are you doing? They're just doing too much. So they are not ready to even make their bosses see the best of the best inside of them.
I think that is completely the wrong attitude. And I think that we will all agree that every single one of the panelists there and anybody who has really gone to the top in their career, they have decided that they're going to be the best at whatever job that they're doing. They're going to do it as if they're even working for God himself. It's irrelevant that it's not your personal company. Every position that you find yourself in should be a learning it should be a learning experience, so that you're able to take it to the next level wherever you find yourself. You may start somewhere you didn't even have a particular career path or think that you wanted to be an MD or a CEO, but because of your attitude to your work, the people around you, you will eventually get noticed, and then it will propel you to the next level. So yes, I'm like you. I don't really subscribe to that sort of attitude where, oh, I'm only going to half do something because it's not my personal business. That is wrong, because if you do become an entrepreneur yourself and you have to hire other people, you would not appreciate that attitude in some of your employees. So thankfully the people here were showing us a completely different side to what success is, and it comes in all different shapes and sizes and in all different varieties. Some people, it's a very long and steady and slow road, and they're constantly building themselves up. For some people, they just get shot to the top immediately. But the thing is, leadership, they all share one quality, which is empathy for everybody else and understanding of their organization and the environment that they're in.
Thank you very much, our etiquette coach, Sika Goka. What I liked from what she said is the fact that as women, we need to be able to pull other women up as we rise. So that's a rhetorical question to you. What kind of woman are you? As you're rising, how many women are you pulling up the ladder as you move? Well, by the time you get to answer that question, I want to believe it's going to be something positive. I'll also take you over to the conference center where we had more people talking about their experience around the conference. Let's watch this.
And now I'm here with Mrs. May Kalmoni. When you talk about detoxing and wellness, she is one name you need to really look out for. And she's proudly located at Jowolu. She's going to be talking to us about her takeout with Ibukun Awoshika's teachings. Hello, May.
Hi. It's been a wonderful day so far, and I'm very proud to be a member of EWN. All these ladies who are really successful, achieving, supporting each other. You really feel that you are part of a network of friends and people who are ready to give and to lead the way and influence you and encourage you to do better. And actually, what our guests of honor this speech today was I was like sitting like a student and watching. And the first thing I was saying, I have to write all these down and tell them to my children, because the first few points were to my daughters, very important for every young girl to have that mindset that her choices are very important for her success, so that she doesn't stop blaming others and putting obstacles in front of her, and that she should be aware of her choices, of her potential, and planning and knowing where you want to go and how to get there. This is really very, though sometimes it seems obvious, but it's not. It's not obvious, because a lot of people find excuses, and the issue of the partnership with your husband and getting a good support system around you is very important. Her second part of her speech was very also inspiring for me in terms of how being respectful, how being kind, and how you are the only one who can carry your vision forward. And you have to carry this to your team so that they become supportive. It's really very, very nice. And I'm excited to hear more today and see what we can, learn.
Okay, you're welcome. This is ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show, and good thing is that she's been on the show, so she's not a face that we all don't know. Good to see you again here.
Nice to see you too here.
Yeah. So, what has the experience been like for you?
It's been very deep for me, very personal, because this is woman-to-woman chat about the realities of how we can rise as women, collaborate better, and also respect the role of the opposite sex in our lives when it comes to our spouses. Most importantly, how we are raising other women, especially our children, to appreciate the values that we have, our talents, and to really stop working in silos and collaborate to come together to really form a more formidable force as women. Very importantly also, how we step up and not be apologetic about being women, but tap into our resources, the talents that we have, and use them to our advantage in the boardroom to really, really push our agenda for country and for the continent and globally. So these are my key takeaways from Ibuku's speech. My name is Hazelbrad. I'm going to keep watching ETV Ghana always. Thank you.
My name is Tuchi Ivowi, and I ask you all to continue watching African Women's Voices on ETV Ghana. It's a show not to miss.
Thank you very much, Tichi Ivowi. Thank you so much. So you're back to the studios of ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. If you've been watching the show from today, you would have heard me say over and over and over again that is the 5th anniversary of EWN. So we've been able to interview some people at the event center, and it's really been inspiring. However, I cannot end the show without showing you a little bit of what the celebration looked like at Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel. So let's take a look at how the 5th celebration was done.
We inspire, empower, and support.
Thank you so much, School of Performing Arts. Can we give them another round of applause? Wow, wow. We couldn't have done this without God. We're going to give thanks to God for bringing us this far for the last 5 years.
Congratulations to you once again, Executive Women Network, on your 5th anniversary. So to draw today's episode to a close, we get to hear from Tuchi Ivowi as she concludes today's episode for us. Let's hear from her.
Seated by me is Tuchi, very popular lady, especially when it comes to the areas have been dominated by men. She's been resilient and she's tried her best to still stay afloat. Tuchi, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Eunice. It's been a wonderful session. It was really about impacting women leaders today. It's the 5th anniversary of EWN and our 5th conference. And you'd see that a lot of the topics were interrelated. So we started off with a very powerful keynote speech by Mrs. Ibuku Nawoshika, and I think that left the entire room really inspired. We went on to the first panel, which I moderated, that was about having a seat at the decision-making table. And if we think about it, there's a lot that goes into leadership and, really building a strong credibility to be able to take organizations further. Later in the afternoon, we looked at innovation, and then we ended with a session on personal branding. And if you think about it, you cannot lead in any space without innovation. And, I just mentioned a few moments ago credibility, building a strong personal brand. that is authentic, one that, you know, has things like integrity bound with it is so important. So it was really an inspiring session, a lot of thought leadership, a lot of energy in the room as well. I think everyone will take a lot out of today.
Thank you so much, Chichi, for rounding up the episode for us. But before we take leave of everyone watching us, I usually acknowledge the presence of those who are watching us on Facebook. And a lot of you have sent in your ways from all across Africa. The comments are trooping in. I think I want to open the phone line to get maybe just one phone call through for you to tell me exactly how you felt about today's packaging and how you are inspired by all the things that have been shared by the speakers at the Executive Women's Conference at the Kempinski Hotel. So let me just say, I see your comment, Wedam Kadwa. You said, equip yourself to be able to get to the seat of decision making. That's my take. Thank you so much. And then for the waves, I'm seeing waves from the United Kingdom, from the US, New York to be particular. I'm seeing from Seychelles this time around. Wow, it's the first time getting someone watching us from Seychelles. Thank you. And I'm also seeing from Turkey. I'm seeing from UAE. I'm seeing from Cairo, from Casablanca. I am seeing from Senegal, from Cote d'Ivoire. I'm seeing from Abuja. I'm seeing from I'm seeing Indonesia. Wow. I see from Japan as well. You're all sending in your waves. And then I'm coming down to Ghana. I'm seeing from Tamale, Zabzugu, Navrongo. You're all watching. Thank you so much. Volta region, Sunyani, Abetifi. Wow, Lubatota, I see you all sending in your waves. Axim, Ketekrachi. Okay, Alavanyo. Okay, I see you all. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. I see from Accra. I also see other people who are sending in their waves from Salt Pond. Thank you so much. Central Region, you're doing so well. You're picking up every time. We always see you presenting so well. Volta, well done. Western Region, well done. Accra, across Africa and across the world, we really appreciate the fact that all the time you sit in to watch whatever we need to present to you. And then let me go through the comments. I see another comment here from somebody who says that his name is Sedem. Sedem says, wow, for you to have been able to interview all these giants in the industries, I want to say a very big kudos to African Women's Voices Show. You are really authentic. Thank you so much, Sedem. All our loves to you. More messages I'm seeing from Abigail. Abigail said, wow, I really love today's show. There was just too much for me to grasp. I've written so much. In fact, I've filled up halfway of my exercise book because everything was loaded. The packaging was on point. Thank you, African Women's Voices Show. Abigail, thank you too. I see Janet Sunkwa Mills. She says, very inspiring. Oh, beautiful. I also see another message from a gentleman. His name is Eastwood. Eastwood says, if we have all Ghanaian women and African women behaving like all the women who spoke today on your show, then the world will really be a better place. So we are praying for our women to hear the words of the teachings that were given on your show today and make the world a better place for us all. Eastwood, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I also see a message from Sarah. Sarah says, okay, I never used to have discussions with my spouse about what I want to do. But today I'm making a decision to have discussions with him and to ensure that I also get a seat at the table. Thank you, Sarah, for determining to begin to have conversations with your spouse about how you want to rise. And spouse, if you're also watching us, we need your support. When we're having the conversations, please listen to us, okay? All right. I am being prompted that our time is fast spent. So if I couldn't read your comment, I would definitely give you a tick. Don't worry, I'm going to read through all of them and respond to them, okay? And it's been a wonderful time with you all. EWN, a very happy birthday to you once more, and we appreciate the partnership during your conference. We look forward to the next conference as well. I want to say a very big thank you to the sponsors of the show, Afariwa Styles, Awu's Hair, Chana Sheto, thank you, Lizzie's Tomato Mix. I am really grateful for all the support. And those of you who are yet to come on board, I'm looking forward to you coming for me to help you promote your brands. Until we meet again, do enjoy the rest of our interesting lineup for you. Bye-bye.
My name is Shika Goka. I'm an etiquette coach and founder of SG Etiquette. Ladies out there, please keep watching the African Women's Voices show.